all right, everybody. Welcome back. This is another episode on the Two Stone Experience podcast. I wanted to basically introduce a guest that I have here. Not only is he a guest, but he's also like family. I wanted to introduce my friend Christian.
Hello.
Hey. What's going on, man?
How are you, Arturo?
You know, I'm doing good, bro. I'm doing good. I wanted to thank you so much for coming onto the show.
Of course.
You know, I greatly appreciate everybody that gets on this show and obviously that does show support. So it's always greatly appreciated from you.
Of course, Arturo. Anytime.
But definitely, man, let's go ahead and get started. And I just wanted to jump into exactly what I have you on the show for, right?
Yeah.
And I obviously wanted to go ahead and touch a little bit on our background.
Yeah.
So basically, you know, I know everybody in this room knows that we've known each other for a very long time.
Mm-hmm.
So let's go ahead and elaborate a little bit on that. How long have we known each other?
Oh, so we've known each other for, I would say, 25 years.
Yeah.
A good 25 years.
Yeah, I would say that. Yeah, definitely. 25 years. Yeah, that's definitely a very long time.
That's a very
Right?
long time.
Definitely. But also, yeah, so obviously the reason why we know each other for so long is because our family knows each other, right? Going back to my mom knowing your mom. I mean, we basically had parties at my house. We would have parties at your house.
I remember.
Right? You remember those days?
No, and our moms actually, our moms are the ones who met first. And I forgot where they met.
That you know what? Funny enough, I don't know. I don't know either.
Yeah.
I don't know either. Probably somewhere in El Salvador.
Maybe, I don't know.
Right?
No, actually, no. They met here. They met in the U.S.
Really?
Yeah, they met in the U.S.
Oh, wow.
I don't remember exactly when that was.
Okay. All right. Well, no, obviously we go way back, right? Because our family knows each other. Man, those parties were fun.
Oh my God.
All the Christmases, all the times we would go to the pool, right? I didn't know how to swim.
Remember?
Yeah, you know. But man, it's awesome. It's awesome. And obviously to know somebody for such a long time, right? You go through a lot of things, right?
Yeah, we actually grew up together.
We definitely, yeah. I would go to your house, every Saturday?
Every Saturday, every weekend, sleepovers.
Yeah.
All the time.
Oh my God.
We never missed a weekend, ever.
Never missed a weekend. But not only did we not miss a weekend, but all the times we used to play Super Smash.
Oh, Super Smash.
Man, on the GameCube.
We love Super Smash.
Yeah, I actually play it now on my Switch.
I remember, and we used to play, what was that game called? Mario Tennis. Remember Mario Tennis?
Yeah, with double doubles.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, oh my God, those games were fucking
fire.
Yeah,
we got super competitive with those games.
Yeah, right. Yeah, funny enough, I was a very competitive person, that's for sure. But for Giordani, I remember Giordani would always
beat us in that game.
Yeah, bro.
Always, all the time.
Be so pissed, right? Like, shit, man. That shit was crazy. But, man, knowing each other for so long, right, all I can remember is all the great times, right? All the good times. Definitely, that was what compiled my childhood, right?
Yeah.
A lot of people would say, like, okay, the childhood of a person kind of forms who they're gonna be later on in life, right?
Oh yeah.
What would you say about that?
Well, I mean, absolutely, yeah. Like your influences state who you are, right? So let's start with our parents. Like our parents are a big influence into the person that we become, right?
Definitely. I could say my dad was a huge influence on my life.
Oh, yeah?
Definitely, yeah. I mean, my dad was real tough. I mean, you know, my brother knows this. But it definitely shaped me. It definitely made me responsible at a very young age. A lot of other things played into that part, but my responsibility was always that. And not only that, but loyalty. Loyalty to me was a very big thing.
No, and I remember you were very close to your dad, even though you stayed with your mom most of the time.
I mean, like, I wouldn't, how do I explain it? Like, I wouldn't say that my relationship with my dad was all the greatest, right? But obviously, yeah, I connected with him a lot more just on, because of what he would teach, right? So a crazy trait of mine is that I like to learn. So he would always teach me something new. Like,
I do remember he was very strict with you. I do remember that.
Yes, he was strict. Not only was he strict, but, he demanded a lot of me.
Yes.
For school wise, you know what I mean? Because my dad was very big on education. My dad had 2 master's degrees in chemistry.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, my dad was a very intelligent person.
Wow.
Yeah,
I had two masters. You said
2 masters
in what?
In chemistry.
Chemistry. Wow.
Yeah. What he would do, he was a technical director for this company, right, called My Door. So what they would do is that he would do like the pH balance levels for like all their products that they had. It's for aquariums and fish and stuff like that. So he would basically write all the formulas for their products and all that stuff. Wow. So my dad was the head behind that. Yeah, he had a big passion for chemistry. I remember when I took it in high school. It was awesome. He loved it. Like that's where we really bonded.
Wow.
You know. But what about for you? Who was a big influence for you?
Well, a big influence for me, I would say my dad, actually. Yeah.
Wow, look
also
at that.
Also my dad. Yeah. My dad always taught me, hard work.
Yeah.
He taught me just how to be myself too, even though it was very hard for me to be myself always when I was young. It was extremely difficult. It's until when I reached, I would say 25, I started to kind of realize, okay, what do I want to do with my life?
Yeah.
Even though I got a master's degree in mental health.
Oh, look at that.
I still felt that I didn't feel like myself yet. I didn't feel completely myself.
Okay.
Right. So until, time passed and I got into this relationship and just a lot of things shifted for me.
Perfect.
A lot of my, my interests, I would say.
Okay. Well, funny enough that you say shifted, right? Because let's talk about, it was all, I mean, let's how would I say it? Damn, I'm getting high now, but that's all part of the experience. But at the same time, what I'm trying to say is that I'm glad you pointed out shift, because not only did we have a great childhood right together, because I mean, spending that much time, right? I basically consider you my best friend at that time.
Yeah.
Right.
Because we were best friends.
Yeah, we would see each other all the time. So with that said, I'm glad you brought up shift, because you remember that one day, we had ran into a little bit of trouble.
Right? I remember that day.
And that day was crazy. I don't think my mom really knew. I don't think it hit her until she got that call. Right?
Oh my God, I remember. Yes,
man, that's crazy. And the funny thing is, we were hanging out. It was one of them Saturdays, and funny enough, they get a call saying that we're
got in trouble.
We're in trouble, and they gotta come, right?
And I think when you're an adolescent, I mean, things happen.
Yeah, they do.
Things happen. We make a lot of mistakes, but we learn from them. And that's the most important thing, is when you learn from these mistakes. And we definitely did learn our lesson. It was a very big impact on us.
Yeah, it did, because literally right after that point, basically I started seeing you less and less.
Yeah, that's when we kind of like separated.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely. Yeah, because I know right after that, things started getting crazy at the house for me, and whatever, personal issues my mom was having at the time or whatnot. But at the same time that I moved, I didn't live no longer in Kendall. I moved all the way out here to Cutler Ridge in 2009.
That's what it was. That was
because
what happened.
Yeah, because now it was a lot farther for you guys to come see us. Like things really did change, like circumstances, all that, right?
Right.
Excuse me. And with that shift, yeah, like obviously I had went through a breakup as well, things like that. But what ended up happening to you?
So when after that, when we kind of like departed our ways, I went into my own thing. I went into college. I got my bachelor's degree in psychology, then I got my master's in mental health.
That's an honor.
But I really just didn't I still didn't feel like myself again. I didn't feel Christian,
Okay. And why would you say that?
Yeah, because I got into this relationship, very, I would say, toxic relationship. And I realized a lot of things about myself.
Okay.
And throughout that relationship, I realized how I liked certain things more artistic.
Okay. So what gravitated you to the more artistic? What piqued your interest?
Well, yeah, my ex-boyfriend, he's a dancer or whatever.
Okay.
And I kind of got into this whole like artistic side of myself. I started seeing things. I was like, oh my God, I really like this stuff. Not dancing, but now I'm into acting. I'm into singing. So it really got me into the art world.
Of course. But what about it all stood out to you? Because I know you're doing the acting. You're pursuing it currently.
Yeah.
Right? So what basically what you did is you tried them out, right? Each
Right.
individually in a sense.
Okay, so how I would say is when we broke up, that was another huge shift, right? So
Mhm.
huge shift for me. I took 2 years, 2 years to myself completely.
Wow. Okay.
2 years to myself. Like I'd explored, I had that opportunity to explore who is Christian, what am I about, what do I like,
Mm.
what are my passions in life.
You were an empty shell.
I was an empty shell, exactly. I was an
Okay.
empty shell. And I always felt like I was a late bloomer
Okay.
um until those 2 years. And I'll never forget those 2 years because they really I would say I really blossomed,
Yeah.
you
Well,
know?
I mean, to see you today, yeah, I
Mhm.
think I can attest to that. But even with that said, right? Like, what? How do I say this? The passion.
Mhm.
What lured you to the passion of
So
the acting?
how did that spark? That's a very good question. I got into a modeling agency called BH Talent and Models.
Mm-hmm.
And I started modeling for a little bit, started modeling for like a year.
Okay.
And then my agent, he told me, "Oh, would you like to take an acting class?" And I was like, "Sure, I'll try it." I never knew what acting was.
Of
I
course.
never really didn't really realize how much it would impact me.
Okay.
Um and I got into this acting class and I was like, "Wow, this is I like this." I didn't realize how much I like acting. And because it's such a vulnerable art,
Okay.
it got me to realize my vulnerable side, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's also was very therapeutic for me.
Okay. I can see that. I can see why.
So yeah, so that it's really like I can't put like
Can't put a finger on it.
can't put a finger on it. Yeah, it's a whole experience for everybody, like I don't know. What would
Okay.
you say?
Well, I guess the last thing I wanted to go ahead and actually dive in on as well was, so now we talked about the passion for the acting.
Mm-hmm.
So from then till now,
Mm-hmm.
talk about Christian's growth in acting.
Okay, so yeah, so how that started, I started doing commercials, I started doing music videos.
Okay.
And then I wanted to explore more. I wanted to do roles,
Did you do any self-teaching?
self-teaching. What do you mean?
Like in the sense of maybe like going on a YouTube video and learning like, oh, what
Yeah,
else
no,
I can do as
actually,
an
yeah,
actor?
yeah, I did go to YouTube a lot. I
Okay.
used to search up actually an actress that I'm very like inspired by. It's
Wow.
Kate Winslet.
Okay.
So Kate Winslet is one of my inspirations for acting. I would search up a lot of YouTube videos of her and how she describes acting.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, yeah, no, that's definitely good. That's crazy. Actually, your journey is actually something marvelous, to be quite honest, because due to the fact that you were able to find something so pure and so
Yeah.
awesome out of a bad situation,
Out of a bad
right?
situation, exactly.
So that, funny enough, that brings me back to me because I went kind of through something similar. Obviously I didn't go to college, right? I think I did maybe about a semester or two. And then after that, I decided that it wasn't for me.
Okay.
Funny enough, I never told my dad that. So, I mean, that's one thing I do regret. But other than that, I got to continue life with that. You know what I mean? But even then, as I was saying, basically, I went through the kind of the same thing, right? There was a monument, damn, I can't even say that word, a monumental breakup, right? Where obviously it took me into depression. That was the first thing I noticed, that I was actually depressed. I had never known what depression was. So the fact that I went through something like that was insane. And that honestly made me stronger. Not going through that, but also going through some issues at home due to the fact that, like my mom got in a little bit of trouble. My brother was in and out of, incarceration. So it was a lot, it was a lot of on my back for some reason. I don't know why. I don't know why I was the one that decided to say, hey, like, I'm going to be this person. I'm going to be that role for this house. Or
You took that huge responsibility.
exactly. Right. So funny enough, with that responsibility, I grew into the person that I am today. Funny enough, it made me man up a lot sooner than my entire class.
And I noticed that. Because I remember when we met up again, you I saw a completely different Abdul. You know, like from when I met you before, and then from when we met again
Yeah.
recently,
When you
which wasn't that long
basically
ago.
at the shoot
At the shoot,
that my
right?
brother put together.
Right. So there, I just saw a huge shift from you. I was, I was amazed, and I was very proud of you.
Wow, thank you.
Honestly, I was very proud of you, and I also found inspiration in you.
Wow, look at that.
Mhm.
That's awesome. That's good. You know what? Funny enough is because the reason I do things like this is not because it has a lot to do with self-interest.
Mhm.
I can't sit here and tell you that it doesn't.
Mhm.
But within that self-interest is to give someone a lending hand,
Mm.
right? Because at the
I
end of
feel
the
that.
day, we always need that one person to say, "Hey, I'm going to take the initiative on this, and I'm going to by me taking that initiative, I'm
Mhm.
allowing other people to grow below me."
Absolutely.
Right? And I think that's a very difficult quality to find in a person.
Absolutely.
You know?
Yeah, to be that like that influence, that big influence
Exactly,
on
to
somebody
be the
else.
person that is I don't even know if that's a form of reliability, but
Mhm.
the thing that I'm getting at is that to be that rock, that cornerstone
Mm.
for people to be like, damn, you know what, like if he's doing it, then you know what, like I think I could do it too.
Right.
And the fact that I can spark that type of inspiration in the person is phenomenal.
That's great. That's
Because
what we're here for, right?
yeah,
Like
that defines a purpose,
right.
right?
Right.
You
Because
know,
many people think like, oh, yes, we have a purpose in life, but I believe we have many purposes in life, not just one purpose. We have many purposes.
that could
And
be
one of the
very true.
best purposes is what you just mentioned, is to influence somebody in your life, right?
Yeah.
To influence them to to serve people, you know what I mean? To help people.
Yeah, that's a soul fulfillment,
Right.
for your soul.
Yeah.
Like we were talking about earlier, mind, body, and soul, they're all connected,
all connected.
right? Funny, and I'm a firm believer on that. And so due to the fact that I went through all those things that I just mentioned,
Mm-hmm.
is that it gave me a lot of alone time. So due
That's
to
a
the
very
fact,
powerful thing to be alone.
listen, alone
Mhm.
time, a lot of people are misconstrue alone time with being, how do I say,
Isolated or
antisocial.
antisocial, right?
It's not.
It's
You need
not.
alone time for yourself because you are a human being.
Yes.
You cannot get influenced by the outside. You need to be sheltered in four walls and really break down
Yes.
who you are, what you're going through, and allow yourself to feel.
And that's a great point, Abdul, because that's the thing is when you're surrounded by so many people that are kind of influencing you in not the best way, and you don't have that alone time, it can be detrimental.
It can. Like I said, the alone time allowed me to find who I was. Like, think about it like this. I'm graduating out of high school. I have this big group of friends. I'm going through issues at home because of obviously, choices that my mom had made, and things like that. And it's like, damn, man, like why, like this situation, I feel all the pressure coming from every single angle.
I can only imagine how hard that was.
You know what I mean? Like, it's like, damn, man, like, and funny enough, the group of people that I with, they were my friends. They were people that I really ride to. I'm still friends with one of them till this day.
Wow.
His name's Edgar, and he's my homie. Like, he's been my homie ever since we graduated high school. That friendship alone is more than 10 years.
And you don't see that every day.
No,
you don't see that.
You don't. Yeah, exactly.
To maintain those friendships, it's not an easy thing, and it's not because of the person, but it's more of the circumstances, the things they go through, and it's not really just about like the person, but
exactly. Yeah, exactly. I know. And then the funny point about that is that it's just like, okay, when in that situation, I obviously I didn't have the mind I have now. I couldn't really understand, but that alone time really put a lot of things into perspective. I lost a lot of friends due to different situations, and then everything just started clicking. Right? Everything just started clicking. I started working. I started busting my butt.
And your interest started to come up, right?
What? Let me tell you. So it's funny how we say the universe works, right? So this goes into my next topic about myself, which is the artist development between us, right?
Yes.
So my artist development started because I started working at this restaurant called Shake Shack. And at Shake Shack, I met one of my friends who I'm still friends with till this day. His name is Lou. Shout out to Lou, man. From Illinois. And they were a little rap group. I basically know their entire family.
Okay.
Right. And they would invite me to come and record. So obviously I had a big interest in freestyling and all this crazy stuff. And then, just to come to a studio was like, damn, what? Like, it wasn't nothing fancy. It wasn't nothing like this. And then obviously there's studios even fancier than this.
And that was the first time you were at a studio?
That was the first time I was in a studio kind of environment. I would call it a studio. It's more of a home studio, right? But it was a studio environment where you can create, where you can actually learn a little bit. Because they were more advanced than I was, right? So, boom, let's accelerate. So we got together, and then through my alone time, because I was going through my alone time in that phase, I started letting out. I would write every day, every moment I did. And sometimes I look back at those moments, Chris, and I'm like, where's that fire? Where's that inspiration? Because as I've gotten older, I've gotten a little more complacent.
And you say that now.
Of course.
So before you were more like, I got the spark, I got the creativity in.
Yeah, but it was because I was going through so much. That's a pinnacle point in my life when I learned.
That's so important, Arturo, because honestly, pain sometimes is the biggest teacher in your life.
It is.
Yeah.
It is. It's the craziest thing.
And it will teach you so many things about yourself. You have no idea.
Exactly. So now that I told you mine, where was yours?
So my growth?
Yeah. How would you explain on your artist development as an actor, how I did for how music was for me?
Yeah. So for acting, it was more about meeting other actors. You know, meeting other actors that are more experienced. I started singing. I've always had an interest in singing, always, since I was very young.
That's funny.
But I never had the courage to really just like pursue it.
I got you.
You know,
that's half the battle.
It was extremely, I was a very shy person when I was young. And I never had that opportunity to really just sing. And until I was like, you know what? Like, I'm just going to do it. I'm just going to go and I'm going to sing. And I went to my friend, Claudia Lopez. Shout out to Claudia Lopez.
Shout out to Claudia.
And I took singing classes with her. And that's where it all started, more or less, my singing career.
And it's a studio, right?
It's a studio. It's a studio, and we recorded and all that stuff. She taught me a lot. And then I just shifted more into acting, just by meeting other actors and, just feeling what I really want to do with my life.
That's awesome. So, in a way, you got to experience both passions to really understand which one you wanted to stick with.
Right.
That's awesome. That's amazing. There's not many people get to try out all their passions.
Absolutely. And that's something that everybody, I feel like, needs to do. They need to search out what it is that you like.
Definitely.
What gives you passion, right? Because
that fire that I was telling you, right?
That fire, like what gives you life? What wakes you up in the morning? That is what the most important thing is.
Definitely.
In this life.
Yeah. And, so with that saying, we're going to go ahead and take a little 5-minute smoke break. All right, everybody. But the conversation right now is getting phenomenal. It's only going to get better. Okay, so let's go ahead and take a smoke break. All right. All right. And we're back from the smoke break. Yo, I'm pretty toasty right now. But anyways, so like we had mentioned before when we got off, right? We were talking about our artist development, how we got to that point, all that good stuff, right? So now how we said that, now what we're going to do, we're going to talk about balancing those passions, right? Yeah. So balancing your passion, what does that mean to you?
So balancing my passions is a lot of things.
Okay, let's get the summarized version.
Yeah, so it's more like I like a lot of things.
Okay.
I'm interested in many things. So balancing all that stuff sometimes can get a little complicated, but I've learned to really prioritize at least 3 things that I like to do.
Okay.
So for me, that would be, obviously counseling, so therapy. Okay. I provide therapy to adults, adolescents, couples, and also my acting career and singing.
Wow.
That's what that's my passion.
Now, how do you balance it in the sense of stress?
Mm, good question. So I also go to therapy. So I think going to therapy, especially being a therapist, it's very important to have your own therapist.
That's crazy.
Yeah. That is just like I learned that the hard way.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. Because you tend to, when you see too many people, you tend to absorb a lot. And if you don't know how to handle that, being an empath, you don't know how to handle that situation, bringing in all that energy, and you don't know where to put it. So I used to just take it in all the time,
Okay.
and I didn't know what to do with it. So it got to me, and I learned that it's important to use your coping mechanisms.
What would be
So
your
coping
what would be
mechanisms
that?
for me is yoga. Yoga, I try to do yoga every single day. That's what really keeps me, balanced and centered.
Damn, that's pretty
Mm-hmm.
cool. Can you describe a little bit about the yoga?
Yeah. So yoga it's more than just an exercise.
Wow.
So it's obviously body, mind, and spirit.
Shit. And how would you explain that?
So really just, you tap into yourself. It's basically getting to know behind the physical body.
Damn.
So
Okay.
getting to know more of who you are,
Okay.
which is the big question, is
and
who you are.
how does it bring that out of you?
Well, I mean, I think it's a process that it's ongoing.
Got it.
Like I feel like we never get to truly know who you are truly. You get to know parts of yourself, but I feel like there's still layers and layers of who you are. I still feel like I need to shed a lot in myself right now to just like explore more parts of me. I
Okay.
don't know if you feel that.
Um well, yeah, definitely I could always learn more about myself.
Mm-hmm.
So I wouldn't really say that I've know myself completely.
Right.
I probably still have limitations that I can break,
Mm-hmm.
and the capability to learn beyond what I know.
Right. Like for instance, like for me, I never would have thought that I would be going into acting. That never even crossed my mind when I was younger,
Definitely, I get that.
ever. So I feel like you have your stages. We change, right?
Yeah, funny enough, how you say that you didn't know you wanted me, rapping was always part of my life.
Mm-hmm.
From the moment I heard my first rap song to like having an instrumental CD, and like, obviously having a brother that's into all that, it kind of helps,
Mm-hmm.
right? And
Mm-hmm.
you get to learn a lot. So funny enough, I just build off that. And yeah, I always said, oh yeah, I wanted to be a rapper and all this stuff, but I never really applied it.
Mm.
Once I actually learned and applied it, then it became a whole different ball game. Now this is a sport.
And what made you make that big step, which is I want to be a rapper?
Well, maybe I guess, you know what, that alone time,
Mm.
that alone time that I talked to you about earlier,
Mm-hmm.
that alone time where I was by myself. Technically I wasn't really by myself.
Mm-hmm.
I would talk to my brother over the phone because he was still in prison,
Mm.
and whatever. Me and him will have conversations sometimes or whatnot, and then obviously Edgar was a big part of my life. He was technically the person I would spend most of my time with, and we were kind of going through like similar situations. The only thing is he was living by himself. His parents had left.
So you had kind of like a mentor.
Not a mentor. I would say, I guess, just a really good friend that was there for me.
Mm.
That you know what I mean. Due to the fact that my brother being away,
Mm.
I had to feel that responsibility. Like, not responsibility. I guess I would have to fill those shoes,
Okay.
right? Because you can only do so much over the phone.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So even though those conversations I would never take lightly, but even then it was just he was there for me physically, right? Like, he was there. He was like, "Yo, dog, I got you. Let's do this. Let's do that." You know what I'm saying? Like, whatever it is.
Mm.
And every time, when we would get into like little trouble, you know what I mean? Like, whatever, getting caught with weed or whatever the case is, like, we were just like, "Yo, you feel me? I'll get you out. You get me out." Kind of thing like that.
And you looked up to him? You looked up to him?
I didn't look up to him. It was more that I had a respect for him, the same respect that he displayed to me. Right. So it was mutual, meaning that it was like, I thought, like, it was kind of like an understanding where it was like, yo, like, I'm gonna ride for you, you ride for me, kind of thing. Right.
I see that.
So yeah, you know, and obviously we were friends, so all that played into a part. But even with that said, it's just like balancing my state of mind, right? So you know how you said you had your 3 things and all that, right? So the way I balance my state of mind is like this. I have a routine, right? Routine to me is very important. Why is routine important? Because the brain works by little wins. It's a scientific fact. By every little win that you do throughout the day, the brain feels way more productive. So for example, making your bed every morning is fucking key.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah.
And you know, funny enough, my brother can speak about that, right? Because my brother being in prison, those are things you got to do. You know what I mean? Your bed got to be made every single time. Well, not even your bed, your mat. That's what the fucking call it.
Your mat. They call it the mat?
They call it a mat because it's literally about yay big.
Wow.
So, you know what I mean? So, my brother over there, high as fuck. But, you know, he chilling. But, you know, so with all that said, like, yeah, with all those wins, right? Your brain is like, oh, shit, I'm on a roll. So it's all about also conditioning. You got to, just like I got to condition my body, I got to condition my brain.
Absolutely.
Right? Thoughts that pop in and pop out. You have to know what is an actual thought and what is an actual fact.
Right.
Right.
And notice also that your thoughts are not who you are.
No, they could be imposed opinions.
Right. It could be opinions from, right.
Right?
It's not, those thoughts are most of the time are not even your thoughts.
Exactly.
They're thoughts from somebody else that
because of some other influence that came out from I don't know where.
Right.
Right. That's why, you know, we were having a conversation and you said the whole social media thing, right? Because we were talking about my mom and your grandma, how they're so close because they're so close by the sense of she was born in 1934, your mom in the 1940s, right? 7-year difference, but regardless, still similar to somewhat age, right? So with that said, it's like, okay, they don't know what the social media thing is, but it's kind of bad.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like with social media, I feel like it's good and bad. You know, obviously, if it becomes very like it's your day thing, like if you're on it every single day,
it's mind altering.
Like I feel like, and I can tell you that from personal experience.
I think all of us can.
Yeah, it's just like you just get consumed by all these visuals. You know, like
yes,
it's too much to deal with.
Mental programming,
right?
So that's why they say take a break from your phone. So little routines, like I said, it goes back to what I was saying, the little routines and things. I like being routine oriented because it's what allows me to get through my day. Right. So my routine is like this. So far, I go to the gym. I wake up by 6:45 in the morning.
Wow, that's early.
Yeah. I was always an early bird.
I remember. Yeah, you were an early bird.
Yeah. Always. So 6:45, then I get to the gym by 7:30. My workout starts at 7:30. On the way there, I'm taking my energy drink, right? Celsius, I guess. And then I'll take my vitamins. So I also take vitamins. That's also another routine that I build, right? I've been taking these vitamins for almost 3 years. My life has changed completely. It's awesome what a little gym and a little more vitamins in your body would do to you.
Absolutely.
You know, because you can have vitamin deficiencies. You know, so whatever that, doing those things. Then from there, I work 3 to 12. I work from home, you know, gratefully. But okay, so I go to the gym in the morning. Mind you, I have to clock in at 3. I don't have to wake up at 6:45. I don't have to do that. So
you decide that. It's your choice. I made the choice. You made that choice to get up in the morning.
Exactly.
And do what you need to do.
Correct. So what does that mean? So back to making the bed. I'm up at 6:45. My bed is made. I took a shower. I went to the gym. By 12, I have done so many things already. You know what I'm saying? That's very important into mind state and balancing your passions. You have to have that one thing that's going to zen you out, right? Whether it be reading that book, whether it be yoga, right? Whether it be me going to the gym at 6:45 in the morning. Oh, I'm sorry, 7:30 in the morning. You know what I mean? Getting my workout in, taking my pills how I'm supposed to. All that plays a part, right? So on that said, the gym to me is one of the most important things ever. And the reason I say that, Chris, is because for me, when I go to the gym, I work out, but I alleviate stress. I love the feeling I get when I get out.
Oh yeah.
You know, it makes me feel like I could take on the day by the horns.
That's instant. I feel like, well, I've been going to the gym for 5 years.
Wow. Yeah, I've been going 3.
It's also like, yes, it's something consistent and to build that dedication, you know?
Yes. Dedication is very important.
That just, and also, I also feel like, well, I mean, for me, what's really helped me with the gym routine has been to go with somebody.
Okay.
So for me, at least for me, that's what works for me is to have somebody there to also work out with.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it does make it more fun. That I can agree. It makes it more fun. But what I learned going by myself is I hold myself accountable.
Right.
You get what I mean?
And that brings up the topic when you don't need somebody to kind of like guide you, because when you do something, you do it for yourself.
Correct.
Right? And
yes.
Yeah, I guess you're right. Yeah, you don't need somebody else to watch you and say like, "Oh, okay, he did this. He went to the gym today." You know?
Exactly.
But it's you hold yourself accountable. Absolutely.
Accountability, I think, is it goes a very long way. Accountability. I've had multiple gym partners,
and they've all failed.
I wouldn't say they
failed.
I wouldn't say they've all failed. Just life took them a different way, right? But like I said, regardless of like, well, you know, most of them work out now alone. But what I'm saying is accountability will take you a long way. I've continued to do this regardless about how many people have come and go. I always go to the gym. Right? And holding myself to that standard means I should apply it to everything else. So
right. And it comes down to trusting yourself.
Yeah.
I've learned that, wow, you know, that was a big lesson for me, is to trust myself.
Yeah.
Right? And believe in myself.
Yes.
Because you can have millions of people trust you or believe in you, but if you do not believe in yourself, there's nothing that can happen, because you need to believe you are there already and you're making it happen every single day.
Agreed 100%. Agreed. And you know, with all that said, to be honest, is like our mind state takes us to where we're going later, right?
Yeah.
So where are we going, Chris? Where are you gonna be
Where
later?
are we going? What I want to put out there is that I want to be a film actor.
Wow.
So I want to be a film actor.
Okay.
That is one of my biggest dreams.
And film actor, you mean like actual movies and stuff like that, right?
Yeah, actual movies, be in film. Yeah.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Also theater. I do like theater. I like what we call straight theater.
Okay.
So straight theater, it's non-musical theater. So I like theater as well, but definitely film to me is something magical, because it's not just an art. I feel like film is more than just an art form. It's also a science. So I think it's science and art at the same time, because in film you need to be like, okay, where am I going to be exactly? I'm going to be here, and then I'm going to turn this way. You know, and you have to make those, you know what I'm saying?
That movement. To go make it go with the script.
Right.
Wow, okay.
And then obviously the art form, you know, the emotions.
Yeah, that is definitely amazing to see an actor portray an emotion and able to feel it.
And able to feel it.
Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah, it's similar to me. So my goal, honestly, is to, you know, take my music as far as I can, take this show as far as I can, you know, not only that, but I also do the company that films this show, I co-own with my brother. So, you know, it's fun. I have my hands on a lot of things right now. So
how would you describe yourself, Abdullah? How would you describe yourself? Like, if you were to describe yourself, like in one word, what would that be?
Durable.
I like that word.
The reason why I picked durable is because durability stays constant. So the fact with that being said is just means that you can always count on me.
Wow.
You know?
That's a powerful thing.
So funny enough, so a couple of my goals that that I'm trying to do is obviously take my company to a point where I don't have to work anymore. right? I think that's a goal that a lot of us
us.
young entrepreneurs are trying to accomplish.
Absolutely.
But not only that, but I also would love to have a plaque, like a platinum plaque for one of my records. That would be something that I have as a long-term goal, and I'm gonna accomplish
And
it.
it's gonna happen. Absolutely.
Yeah, exactly, right. I'm a big believer in affirming my things. Affirmations are huge.
It's that visual,
Yes.
visual representation.
It's a visual thing, you know, and I can see the end. So that's where I'm headed, right? And then not only that, but also what I'm aiming for. So what I'm aiming for is to actually be a full-fledged entrepreneur, right? But also give back to the community, right? I want to instill, I guess what I'm trying to say is I would love to instill in my community, like, you know, things that I never had or things like that, right? So for example, like basketball courts, that's a big thing for me because I love basketball. And I feel that any kid that loves basketball should explore that option in playing. And basketball to me gives me huge relief, you know, so that's why I would like to give back to my community in that sense, right? So kind of be aiming to be a philanthropist.
That's a beautiful thing to do.
You know? But what exactly are you aiming for?
So, I mean, exactly, if I were to tell you right now, I don't know. I don't have a clear vision. So
Okay.
I feel like I need to really look within myself and to really have that clear intention for myself.
Of course.
But I can tell you, you know, some things that I would like, which is, you know, the being an actor in film. I'm in a relationship now. This person, I would say he's teaching me a lot of things about myself.
Okay.
And I can say that it's going to be amazing.
That's awesome.
It's going to be amazing. Sometimes I can't really tell what's going to happen, you know?
So you're just going to go with the flow kind of thing.
I'm going to go with the flow. Yeah, I'm definitely going to go with the flow. And just experience me, you know? I want to have that opportunity to know myself truly.
That's awesome. Yeah. That's a huge statement. And again, thank you for coming on this show because we've had some amazing conversation on here.
Absolutely.
You know, and just to put the bow on this present that we got here on this gift, right, that we're going to give to all of humanity. Is basically, you know, let's talk a little bit about a Broadway show. So how was that opportunity? How did you feel?
So, I mean, it was my first ever like musical.
Okay.
So it was very nerve-wracking.
I can imagine.
I had to learn 16 songs.
Holy.
In just not even 2 months. So it was a lot to learn. I was a lead character.
Wow.
So it was a lot to learn, and being a new person in this field, I don't know what to do. I'm going to just learn as much as I can, you know? Luckily, I met such wonderful actors.
That's awesome.
I met wonderful actors that are experienced. And again, in acting is all about the networking, the connections, the friendships you build. So I met wonderful people there, and they taught me a lot about the art form, you know, the musical theater, which is no joke. Musical theater, it's very difficult.
I can imagine. 16 songs, that's a lot.
Yeah, I mean,
it's almost an entire album.
I mean, imagine you have to sing, you have to dance, you have to act. So it's a lot of things.
That's crazy. Well, I'm glad though. I'm glad that everything turned out. Were you nervous?
Yeah, I was very nervous.
What did you do to calm down?
Well, I mean, I've only been in a stage in New York where I performed 2 songs, you know? And that was my first time on a stage.
That's insane.
And that was like a year and a half ago, not even a year and a half ago. So I'm very new to this, but I'm very open to exploring more.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, you know, basically, I want to let you know that I hope you find what you're looking for. Not only that, I hope also that whatever path you take, you prosper greatly. Okay. And obviously, you know, go ahead and find your greatness.
Awesome.
You know, I'm here doing mine in any way that I can help, I will. And yeah, it's pretty much it, Chris. You know, I want to thank you so much for coming onto the show.
Of course I do.
It's always a pleasure. You're welcome on here anytime.
Thank you so much.
And hey, shout out one time to Array Creative Media, the boy behind the camera. You know what I'm saying? You gonna pop out, cuz? He ain't popping out.
he doesn't want.
He want to stay. He want to stay in the back.
Yeah.
But it's all good. All right, fellas, ladies and gents, stoners and stonettes. It's a wrap. You know what I'm saying? Two-Stone Experience. We gone. Another one in the books. Thank you, everybody. And again, thank you, Chris.
Thank you, Arturo.